Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here and I want to bring to your attention that this is again another episode of the WWE show instantly right afterwards. Now, this episode is going to be about next Monday's WWE Old School Raw and who I think will be participating, whether it's fighting or whether it's just showing up on the show, who I think will be at Old School Raw. I honestly think Roddy Piper will be there. Diamond Dallas Page, DDP, Lita, Edge, Chris Jericho. I don't know about a Hulk Hogan because so far he hasn't signed a contract back to WWE. So I don't know about Hulk Hogan. As far as Hulk Hogan goes, I have no idea if he's going to be at Old School Raw next week. Ric Flair, I think, will be at Old School Raw because they're promoting him through the promotional videos of the Old School Raw commercial. So most likely Ric Flair will be returning. Who else? Booker T will be there. Well, Booker T works for the company, so he'll be there. But he'll be there representing the Old School Raw. And who else? I honestly think D-Generation X will return. Or at least an in-ring promo segment will come about of DX with each other. Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, X-Pac, Shawn Michaels, and The Game, Triple H. But I don't know about that yet. My thoughts are this. Bring back DX. They were the greatest tag team in all of WWE history. I mean, seriously. D-Generation X brought a lot of people in their seats for WWE shows, and D-Generation X will always bring people in for the shows. But what doesn't bring people into the shows are people like Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, because they're NWO. But speaking of NWO, are they ever going to return, even if it's a one-night thing? And if so, how? Because Scott Hall's son is a independent wrestler, and his son is Cody Hall. You can check up on YouTube, type in Cody Hall wrestler, and you will see videos, tons of videos of Cody Hall fighting. I mean, I'm gonna pull up a video right now. Not that you can see it, but just so I can tell you some of the matches that he was in. I mean, Cody Hall is somewhat like his father. I mean, if you type in Cody Hall wrestler, the first video that should pop up is a video with Scott Hall in it, and it says introducing Cody Hall DDP TV. It's a great video. I've seen it, and it introduces Cody Hall not only to the wrestling population, but just introduces Cody Hall as a person himself. Introduces who the guy is and who his father is. His father is NWO legend Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, and the video is just a great video nonetheless. So if you get a chance, go on YouTube, type in Cody Hall wrestler, and watch Introducing Cody Hall DDP TV from the Diamond Dallas Page YouTube channel. And in fact, you go down the list of that search, you will see matches such like Mike Posse versus Cody Hall, Anarchy, June 22nd, 2013. Cody Hall with Scott Hall versus Josh Hess on July 14th, 2012. You'll find Cody Hall versus Mike Posse again. Cody Hall versus Paul Jordan. Cody Hall versus Devlin Valek. Such matches. Scott and Cody. It's all good. You'll find Cody Hall versus Jacob Ashworth. Cody Hall versus Chas and Rance. It's because this guy is not that famous, but yet he is famous because of his father. So they have tons and tons and tons of video, like WWA4 Moose versus Cody Hall. They have tons and tons of videos on YouTube about him. They also have Cody Hall versus Rick Michaels. So any one of these matches you ever want to search, just type in Cody Hall wrestler, and you'll find tons of videos about Cody Hall. He is the son of Scott Hall from the NWO New World Order, and he's following in his father's footsteps, becoming a wrestler himself, making a name for himself. He's basically, if anything, he's just like his father. Not when it comes to wrestling, not when it comes to him personally, but just I'm talking about his entrance. At least is so much like his father's, because he's using his father's last NWO theme song, which is NWO Wolfpack, but he uses the instrumental version, which is without the lyrics, and it's just the music itself with the howling every so often throughout the music. And it's just so good that he's following in his father's footsteps, doing what his father did in the past, and making himself not only Cody Hall, but he's making himself his own person, his own wrestler, but at the same time doing what his father did in the past and following in his footsteps. Are we ever, within the next, 5, 6, 7 years, are we ever going to see Cody Hall ever join WWE, whether it's in NXT in Florida or if it's on the main television, Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown? Are we ever going to see Cody Hall for between the next 5 to 10 years? Are we ever going to see him appear anytime on WWE television? I don't know. I mean, Scott Hall was so good as Razor Ramon back in the WWF era when he faced Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental Championship at the very first ladder match of WrestleMania 10. I mean, it was Scott Hall, a.k.a. Razor Ramon, versus the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, for the WWF, at the time, World Wrestling Federation, WWF Intercontinental Championship, and it was for the Intercontinental Championship. They both claimed they were champions, so they hung two Intercontinental Championships up, and they fought to the bitter end. And who would be better to come out as winner than Scott Hall? Scott Hall ended up winning the match, and then a year or two later, he quit WWE, or his contract ran out from WWE. And the very next day, he went like it was a Sunday that his contract expired, and that very Monday, he was on Monday Nitro television. Like, it was Sunday, his contract expired, and that very Monday, that happened the next night, he was on Monday Night War for the Nitro brand. He was on Monday Nitro, and it just happened that quickly. Sunday, contract expired. That Monday, he appeared on Nitro. So, it's that quick that it happened like that. But that's too much. I'm talking too much about Cody Hall's father, Scott Hall. Now, anyways, I'm going to speak again about the Monday Night Raw Old School, and who I think I should see. Ric Flair. I'm going to name everyone, whether I already named them or not. Ric Flair. Bret Hart, Lita, who else? D-Generation X, which is Road Dogg, Jesse James, Badass, Billy Gunn, and X-Pac with the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, Edge. I think I'll see, who else? Roddy Piper. Who else? The Godfather, Ron Simmons, Dusty Rhodes. Who else? Mick Foley. Many people. Bret Hart, I think I said. If I haven't, Bret Hart. Jimmy Hart, I think, might be on the show. I'm not too sure. But you'll see a lot of WWE legends and a lot of WWE Hall of Famers here on Monday Night Raw on Monday for the Old School Raw episode. And they're all going to bring an amazing crowd reaction for you all. I mean, they're legends. they must have brought some attention to the WWE Universe for their entire career. And, well, they are all fantastic guys, especially Jimmy Hart. I met Jimmy Hart on 3 different occasions, and Jimmy Hart is the nicest guy you can ever meet. I mean, you ask him about his WWE career, he'll tell you. You ask him about any guy that he managed, such as I'm going to name a few of them. Give me 1 minute. I mean, you can ask him about any guy that he's managed between the following, and I'm going to name them all. I'm going to name every person that Jimmy, the Mouth of the South Hart, WWE Hall of Famer, has managed throughout his entire career, from the start of the list, from Wikipedia. From Wikipedia, Jimmy Hart has managed Adrian Adonis, Ox Baker, Superstar Billy Graham, The Barbarian, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Dino Bravo, King Kong Bundy, Earthquake, Paul Ellering, The Nature Boy, Ric Flair, Jerry Flynn, The Giant, a.k.a. Big Show, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, Bret the Hitman Hart, Hulk Hogan, The Honky Tonk Man, Austin Idol, The Iron Sheik, Wild Bill Irwin, Gypsy Joe, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Kamala, Conan, Larry Latham, Jerry the King Lawler, Lex Luger, Mang, Hugh Morris, and the father of Macho Man Randy Savage. I'm sorry, no, not the father, the brother of Macho Man Randy Savage, Lanny Poffo, the Renegade, Rick Rude, Randy Savage himself, Kevin Sullivan, Andy Kaufman, Kid Cash, Coco Beware, Jacques Rougeau, Mabel, a.k.a. Big Daddy V, and Viscera, Big Bubba Rogers, Johnny Grunge, Abdullah the Butcher, Tommy Rich, Dewey Robinson, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Sting, AJ Styles, Lance Hoyt, a.k.a. Vance Archer, Samoa Joe, Tyson Kidd, Heath Slater, and Ray Rougeau, and many, many more. He's also managed the following team: the Dungeon of Doom, the Faces of Fear, which was Mang and the Barbarian, the First Family of Wrestling in Memphis, the First Family WCW, which includes Brian Knobbs, Hugh Morris, Jerry Flynn and the Barbarian, the Funk Brothers, Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk, the Glamour Girls, Leilani Kai and Judy Martin, the Hart Foundation, which was Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, with Dangerous Danny Davis, Money Incorporated, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and Bray Wyatt's father, Erwin R. Shyster, the IRS guy. They also managed the Nasty Boys, Brian Hobbs and Jerry Saggs, as well as the Natural Disasters, Earthquake and Typhoon, the Naturals, Andy Douglas and Chase Stevens, and he's also managed the Rhythm and Blues, the Honky Tonk Man and Greg the Hammer Valentine, as well as the fabulous Rougeau brothers, Jacques Rougeau and Raymond Rougeau. So, those are some of the guys that Jimmy Hart has managed, and I know this is a long rant about who he's managed, but I'm just showing you that this guy, Jimmy Hart, is that good of a guy. He's managed them all. Managed all those guys. And is still one of the best managers WWE's ever hired. So, what I want to mention also about Old School Raw is that it's going to feature the Old School Raw set. The one where they had the big letters, the R-A-W, big letters, as well as the big Titantron screen. They're going to feature that as well. I mean, they did that last year, but they're going to feature it again this year. It's going to be a great, great episode of Monday Night Raw. It always is whenever they do Old School Raw. always ends up being a great show. So next Monday, or this following Monday, this Monday coming up, check USA Network through your cable provider, and check to make sure you record, if you have a DVR of some sort, to record Monday Night Raw this Monday at 8 o'clock on USA Network, or on whichever channel it is in whichever country you're listening to this radio show from. It's 8 o'clock in America, in New York where I live, and it's a great show, and you should watch it. It's Old School Raw. It's going to be a great episode with Nature Boy Ric Flair, and possibly D-Generation X, X-Pac, Road Dogg Jesse James, and Badass Billy Gunn, with the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, and the Game, the Authority leader Triple H. So be sure to watch it this Monday. Thank you for listening, and I will probably, if not some other day, be hosting another episode of the WWE episode for any other upcoming WWE Monday Night Raw shows. Thank you for listening. Good night, and I'll get back to you sometime within the next month with another episode of the WWE show. I am your host, James Balish. Good night, everyone.